Mark Waid, writer of Superman Birthright, and you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's the Krypton Report.
Host Tyler, and welcome to Krypton Report, a podcast dedicated to all things Superman, Supergirl. We're going to look at the Supergirl TV series as well as the Krypton TV series, anything that has to do with the characters in their world. Comics, movies, TV shows. We will talk about everything and anything. We are part of the Southgate Media Group podcasting network. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Krypton Report. You can also email us at kryptonreportpod@gmail.com. If you get a chance to go over to iTunes, Apple Podcast, please leave us a review to help us get better. You can find me personal at JTYPatrick on Twitter and everything else. You can buy a Krypton Report t-shirt at tpublic.com. Check it out. They have all sizes, colors, styles of shirts. Just go to tpublic.com and search Krypton Report and you'll see our logo. And every time you buy a shirt, it helps support other podcasts from southgatemedia.com. Thank you. Enjoy the show. Yes. Welcome to this exciting season finale double header episode of Supergirl with me, the Superman Blue, also known as Tyler, the Superboy Blue, known as Solo. You say hey? And Superman Red, that muscle-bound man from slightly northwest of me, James the Man Cole. Hey, James.
Oh, pretty good. How you doing, Tyler?
Doing all right. The counter is working, so I believe. So let's talk, and my God, do I hate technical problems, guess?
Yep, it's a podcaster's life, right?
Podcasting. That's for sure. They're like, oh, you that's weird. No, it's for my podcast. What's up? Okay. Double head, let it rain. Well, I want to let it rain because, you know what? It's cool. But, there.
Well, Make It has made it to Earth. They stole her ship and they went to Earth to complete their plan of to spark the Earth's core to cause eruptions and try and terraform
everybody. If I went to another planet,
Earth is apparently able to successfully be terraformed into another alien species.
Yeah, I mean, you can terraform. I don't. On a planet, I would not want to leave that planet. Just saying.
You know how many times they say in the multiverse that the Earth is the center of the multiverse, and
yeah, all right, you sold me on it.
You even go to Marvel, and Earth is at the center of all the realms and everything. I mean, we kick ass, apparently.
I guess we do. I guess we do. Or everyone just thinks that we're pussies, and they can just kick us over and take our planet.
Well, we are soft, apparently, according to every other alien life form out there. But what are you going to do? We're special.
We are special. Hey, Solomon, don't use all that.
Yes, Kara and Mon-El are trapped on Argo City, and they need to try and figure out a way to get back to Earth and a way to warn the people of Earth, because the dome on Argo City doesn't allow for communication.
Nice little plot device there. So we have to actually be on the planet, to have any kind of communication. So I see what you've done here. So point for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, I like this episode because I like Wynn has a very strong moment where he creates the device, like the belt, that creates a force field to protect who's ever wearing it, which is really pretty awesome when you think about it. And what is his name? I'm looking for it. Do you remember?
Deimos, the agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deimos.
He has it on.
Him and Wynn have been in odds a couple of times throughout the season, mostly during upheaval portions.
Yes. And
Wynn signs his belt as the centerpiece for the non-lethal direction that the DEO is heading. And it's actually pretty funny because he turns on his belt, he just tells Deimos to punch me. He's like, you're not even going to ask, and he swings on him.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, he's like, I've been waiting for that. I've been thinking about that. That was a funny scene.
It was a very funny scene. And then,
Dad, I saw in this one. I saw in this one.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, you're using all this up, buddy. This is cleaner, and now Daddy's going to have to buy more. Okay.
Daddy.
No, Daddy's talking.
Look up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, so...
these...
No, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Wynn has a big role...
Just going to say the...
Wynn plays a big role with using his tech and using the teleporter to get them back to Earth from Argo City. They figure out they can use that dimensional portal that's at the DEO to get them back.
Yeah, that was actually pretty interesting. I mean, it was a nice use of the teleporter that they had there. It was just kind of obvious, it's kind of these last two episodes of Supergirl 6.
Yeah.
As it were.
So many.
As it were. The crystals, they're able to somehow connect into the artificial intelligence or the hologram of Allura at the DEO.
Which was hilarious.
Somehow they're still able to.
Cars talking.
Yeah,
through
somehow they're still able to establish communication when they're not supposed to have any communications. It was funny the way that Allura scared Wynn and the interactions. Erica Durance did a really good job, I think, of interpreting Melissa Benoist's mannerisms and
yes.
Speech patterns as they kind of went back and forth between Kara and the hologram. They were really on it together.
They were. It was just great to see Erica Durance do more.
Hello, Daddy. Climb.
Mm-hmm. But it's pretty convenient that her father's lab is still existent. I mean, the way she made it sound like it's the same lab, Krypton. Obviously, there's some stuff that survived Krypton, but it seems like his lab is fully intact. We discussed on why they call it the Harun L, and I'm kind of thinking from these handfuls because it was Zor-El's experiments that allowed him to, why would they call it L? I mean, that's the only headcanon, some sort of mineral type name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why you would give it something almost related to the thing.
You on this? It makes sense, and they give it a long name that it doesn't need.
And during the Argo the one on Earth. We lost. That's how they got to the Slavers Moon.
Up to mommy.
Season back, so we know that one has been in use. But the one on Argo City was never completed, or that he was or getting it to work. So,
So it's all up to Win.
It's all up to Win, and I mean, Win's a genius, but I don't know that he could fix alien technology without actually being on site with the technology and the materials in front of him. So it's kind of funny how they're able to actually make it work and sync it together without, the smartest person on Argo City who couldn't have gotten it working at the time.
Yeah, I mean, you would have think that'd been a perfect intro for Brainiac 5, for him to do something. But the Legion aren't back here yet, so
yeah. It's just it all works. It's really convenient, but it all works. During the so during this rebirth, I guess you can say, Rain, and she won't completely form. For some reason, because she absorbed the powers of pestilence and purity. So for whatever reason, they need the blood of pestilence and purity to give Rain full life again. And during the whole scuffle at the DEO, they use the hologram of Allura to trick one at the panel using the Allura hologram isn't working.
You got to admit it was pretty funny. Somebody would fall for that. You're just kind of rolling your eyes all right, I guess I'll go with it.
Right. The biggest contrivance there is, she's a Kryptonian. She's only been on Earth for not even a day, maybe a matter of hours. They have their full powers. Apparently they're in they're in control of their full faculty.
That's one thing that always gets me. That's one thing that always bugs me, is when you have these stories of how Superman and Supergirl grew up learning how to use Kryptonians that show up and immediately can use their powers. And you're just, that's something Man of Steel has over everything else. They came in and they had some strengths and some things like that, but their powers, the powers threw them off. They didn't know how to deal with them. They didn't know how to react to them. At least they bring up that I was trained my entire life to control my senses. So at least he's got, some kind of reason to control his abilities in such a shorter period of time. Yeah, at least they try with Zod. Props for trying.
Tony is running to keep the blood samples of purity and Kryptonians. And as he goes, his hit blasts. And unfortunately, in any universe that can protect you from that.
Yeah, weird for me. I felt like, I don't know, it was like slow motion and extra, I don't know, it was like extra deep when it really didn't have to be. I don't know. Could be just me.
Yeah. But the scene played out the fact that, it's the CG force field, the CG heat vision blasts, they're colliding and it's all glowing and everything, but then it just collapses. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure as to what happened to him, until they did bring it up that he died. And I I wasn't sure that he had died. It's like, what did the heat vision blast do to him? I mean,
Yeah.
like,
It didn't burn.
and what happened?
Like,
yeah, I mean, sure, I'm okay with them not showing a smoldering corpse, which, you know, it's not like they haven't done that on the CW on a number of shows, but, you know, it's just, it didn't strike me that would have killed him, at least with what happened. He just collapsed from heat vision. You know, if maybe the heat vision, the shield, you know, he had like 6 beams to shoot through, you know, which they actually show in the very next episode. I mean, then sure, that would have been obvious, but it didn't do that.
they were like, we're saving our budget.
It's just flash a light and he's dead. Flash a light and he's dead.
Everyone say, oh, it's Deimos. It's cool. Yeah, I mean, it ended. Kryptonian's gonna just taking over basically the center of the Earth, and they're gonna destroy Earth from the center. How original!
Yeah, they were. Supergirl tried to destroy it with her heat. They on Argos started existence. Rain took the sword and flew the Earth.
Rain. Yeah. So the next episode, which is the season finale. So basically, Sam is mentally trapped in and I've not been your mind, just like a sleep mind transfers you somewhere. You just be whatever at Kryptonite, okay? They didn't split Rain, okay? They did what?
They did it a little more. They did it a little more effective to end the than they did the Davis Bloom character.
I mean, were you
even though I do find. Well, I mean, they Superman the movie the whole episode. You know,
true.
So I mean, so what are you gonna do? I mean, they pulled Davis Bloom from season 8 of Smallville. They pulled Superman the movie in this episode, and I mean, I don't even know specifically what Marin did in this episode.
Yeah,
but
okay, let's talk about
he saved the planet.
Marin decides that he's going to save himself. Okay, by sacrificing.
We didn't talk
himself.
about they started the Reach. We didn't. Sorry to interrupt. We didn't talk about that him and John in the last episode started the Reach to transfer all of his Martian memories to John.
That's a really cool concept. I just want to throw that out there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. They started that, and then Marin basically says that he can save us by going to the center of the Earth. He can stop it. And in this episode, he does. And it's heartbreaking. But we have no idea what he did. They don't really give us any clue as to what exactly Marin was doing down there.
Yeah, he disappeared after giving John the first memory of the Martians, of the first Martian receiving the scrolls, their history. And then he disappears, and the Earth stops quaking, the Earth stops cracking open, and that's just it.
Everybody cheers. Everybody cheers. But nobody knows the sacrifice that, really went into what just happened.
Yeah, he was already dying, so that was coming about, but the way he chose to go out as opposed to steadily declining and losing himself before he passed. He sacrificed himself to save the planet.
He decided to go out like a champ.
Yep.
And I don't blame you. If I had the option, that would be a great way to kind of go out. And I loved Marin's story. Like, he was one character that in this season, he was one of my favorite characters. Like, I've said it before, I could have watched Marin and John as a series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he, very good job. Very good interactions with all the characters he came across. He spent most of his time with David Harewood and Alex. He spent most of his time with John and Alex. And, he did a very good job of playing. He was more of a father figure. John has been like a father figure to Kara and Alex, but more recently, he's more of a friend, and not as much of a mentor. He's been more of a friend and partner. He's kind of moved from the father figure that he started out in the first season with them, and so with the friendship and the love that Alex and John especially share for one another, to have those emotions for Marin as well. Alex said a very fond farewell to Marin before they started to perform the Reach, and he says that Earth is his son's home, and where he loves his people, and that the Earth was his son's home, and he would gladly sacrifice himself for that.
It gets you right in the feels, like majorly. And
I'd say that was probably the strongest moment in the episode. Moving forward,
I would too. The Reign versus Supergirl stuff is cool, but I don't know. I felt like it was a little anticlimactic. I thought it was more interesting that Wynn is going to the future. Spoilers: Wynn's going to the future to be a part of the Legion because I guess straight up Brainiac is doing something and has like a virus that's killing biotechnics or whatever. So Brainy can't go. So Brainy's staying behind. And Wynn is going to the future with the Legionnaires, Saturn Girl and Mon-El. And, we're skipping all around here. But Jean's kind of doing, Jean decides to step back from the DEO and promotes Alex as the commanding officer and leader of the DEO. And John's going to kind of walk amongst the people. It reminds me of Justice League Unlimited season 2, where, during season 1, Jean's basically the Watchtower. And in season 2, he decides that he needs to step away and that he's going to be amongst the people. And that's what was in my mind. The whole.
Yeah, that's what I thought of as well.
And it was a good episode. The finale, I love the fighting. We see not much development with the Lena and Kara relationship as far as that stuff that we were hinted at. The Lena and Supergirl, that stuff was hinted at with them being more like going to be rivals and not friends, like Lena. And we see a big thing is Lena learns how to make Harinel and gives Harinel and the information to Alora when Alora heads back to Argo. My brain's everywhere right now. I've worked a 12-hour shift today. And we learn that Lena, she knows how to make it. So, of course, she has some herself. and she's going to run experiments with Miss Tessmacher. I don't know if we talked about Eve Tessmacher has now had a degree in like science, biology. Like that was kind of just shoved in there, but she's going to play a big role, I guess. And let's see. Okay, so the final battle with the Dark Kryptonians took place in the evil fortress, and they burn up Rain inside like a big fire-looking thing, and Supergirl's fighting her.
That was interesting because when she flew to the center of the Earth, she flew right into that cauldron and took off straight down to the center of the Earth. But then when Supergirl picks her up and throws her in there, like, did they do something into the cauldron that would now cook her as instead of, being just like, cause she just flew in there last episode to head to the center of the Earth.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's where she came out of.
I kind of had to think back to myself, like, I had to think back because I was like, wait a minute. Did this already happen? I was like, what are we doing? Did this already happen?
Actually, come to think about it, is the only thing I can maybe think of is Sam is dying. Sam's cells, because her and Rain still share a bond, apparently, even though they've been separated and they have two different bodies. So they still share a bond, and Rain becoming stronger is killing Sam. Well, Sam uses the electroshock to get back to the valley. I thought Brainy had some kind of technology that allowed them to get there, but apparently just electric shocks work. Because she goes there and she drinks from the pool of Lilith. There's two pools. One is for like life and strength, and the other one's for death. So maybe
that was all so
drinking
overly confusing. Like, that was just too much they were trying to shove in, and it was just overly confusing. I didn't know what was going on. Like, trying to follow that, like, logic of just, yeah.
It kind of seems like they root themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
They stretched it out too long, and then they ended up having to try and force it in at the end. I think they could have probably taken some other stuff out. I'm not sure what specifically offhand from the season that they could have taken out pertaining to that storyline to maybe extend that and plot it out better. But so I don't want to sound dumb saying that, but they probably could have plotted that out better instead of just kind of like forcing it in there. But that's the only thing I can think of is Sam drinking from that pool and Sam becoming stronger, that Rain becoming weaker now that the cauldron might have done something to her. That's all I've got.
I agree. Hey, I'm with you. I'm completely with you. And that's where we see like the heat vision used to destroy. Because we have a really interesting scene where Supergirl sees everyone get killed. She touches the hair and then she travels back in time in a really weird. This is another thing I didn't quite get. The Legion rings are supposed to be like time machines too. Like, you're supposed to be able to travel through time just with the Legion ring. So, like, she has the ring on. Brainy opens, like, a portal or something. I was a little confused. I mean, it was like they had cut some dialogue or something, so we couldn't follow. I didn't know what was going on. But anyway, she goes back.
So, I think, I think what had happened, I mean, it's been different in different iterations. I mean, you do like Superman the animated series, and they they use a time portal in some kind of academy or something. You know, they still have the rings to fly, which actually, considering, you know, the episode we did, I believe not Kansas, when we were talking about how Supergirl was flying, and how Mon-El was flying earlier in the season when he first started doing his cape tricks and stuff. I think the only reason Mon-El could fly and the only reason Kara could fly on Argo City was the Legion ring.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, thinking back, I think that's something we may have missed and not discussed properly at the time.
And I agree with you because, you know, I look back a lot at my comic lore, like, sometimes Mon-El being Daxam, like, he wasn't supposed to fly, but they've kind of blurred that, I think, in a lot of ways. So I don't know. You know, it's like one of those things you just kind of, all right.
Yeah.
Roll with.
But we do see, and it's kind of convenient though too. The after she throws Rain in the cauldron, there's the big death scene. She hits Mon-El with her heat vision, and they're all like placed. She hits Mon-El with her heat vision. She hits Allura with her heat vision. I mean, was it Mon-El who saved John and got hit with the heat vision? But then Allura got hit with the heat vision, and then like Sam got hit with the heat vision. So everybody but Kara and John were dead.
Yeah, because Sam was there saying that she could take on Rain, and I was like, okay, this could be cool. She's going to actually do something, and she just basically does something enough to get killed. And it's the whole time. It's the whole time travel.
Yeah, she talks about find a distortion. So I think maybe the ring just allows for more of like precise travel through the distortion. I mean, to time travel. I mean, that's what they were looking for before Mon-El returned. That's what they were looking for out in space before the Legion time travel was a distortion. So at least they kept that.
I mean, they kept some
continuity.
consistency. I mean, yeah.
Throughout. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said,
she flies, and well, this episode, like everything was rushed. Maybe it was just editing or something, but you know, like saying that
just a little too much
breathe in space.
Yeah, like they filmed a little too much, and they were like, let's whittle. No one will care. The tensions are up. Tension is high. People are they're on the edge of their seat.
Right. So like the time distortion, like, can she breathe in space? Can she not? Like there are versions of Superman where he needs to wear a suit to go into space. And then there are other versions of Superman where, you know, he can fly to Alpha Centauri and back without any kind of, without any aid, without any ships, without any suits or oxygen or anything like that. So apparently in Supergirl they cannot fly or breathe in space.
I guess
maybe we'll see. maybe we'll get to see a Kryptonian spacesuit.
I'm cool with that. And then, so let's just go ahead and jump to the end. We've talked about the end, but the twist for next season. So when Supergirl touched the Haranel, it's split her. And now there's
That's what it looks like.
There's a Supergirl that shows up in Russia. And supposedly season 4 is going to have a Red Sun type vibe / influence. And I'm just kind of like, okay. What? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we just saw Overgirl. Like, now now if they did something like a Supergirl Red, Supergirl Blue kind of thing, kind of along those lines, would be kind of neat to see.
And they have to try and merge them back, perhaps.
Yeah, and like, you know, you could do something cool with like the colors, like, cause Supergirl, I thought, and I swear I read it and I found it before, she was supposed to get a new costume this season. So maybe she'll get a new costume next season. And it'd be kind of neat maybe if they went along those lines with like more of a more blue, and then the other Supergirl has more of a red, and kind of did it that way with like the two of them. That would be, that could be really cool. That could be something, you know, worth really doing. But I mean, we already saw evil Supergirl. We've seen Bizarro. I don't know, like, if she's not evil, that would be, I think that'd be even more interesting if what affects the original Supergirl. Like, she was split, but like, what did she lose?
Yeah.
You know, like, she's not whole. Like, she has to be whole, to really function. Like, neither of them can really exist without the other. And like, the other Supergirl, like, it'd be neat. Like, she's not bad. She's just another Supergirl. I'm gonna pull out, I have the comic where like there's a black Supergirl. I think it was written by Sterling Gates, and I got it over here, where she's like in a black costume of hers, like the skirt and the shirt, and then she fights herself. I don't know, I'm gonna pull it out and look for it, do some reading. But what would you give these two episodes? Or final thoughts?
I mean, as a whole, I mean, they are basically a two-parter for the season finale.
And I like
as
it
it were.
I like it when they do like the last 3 episodes. Sometimes, like they do with Arrow, where it's like a movie. It's like one giant. And so yeah, it was basically a 2-parter. The last episode, then this one.
So, I mean, you know, it all worked out really well. It all worked. Conveniences aside, everything worked. I do think that, like the overall fighting of all the people together was good. I do think the fighting earlier in the season, where they went for broke to the mid-season finale, that fight was better served. And, but, out of 10 for both episodes for the season finale, I'd probably give it about a 7.5. Entertaining, emotional, especially knowing now that Wynn is going to the future and he is only going to be a recurring character as opposed to a regular character. They started giving him some things this season, some friendship moments, some character growth. His interactions with Brainiac were really good. Brainiac, I think Brainiac more or less like talking down to him as more of a challenge as opposed to, actually meaning what he said about him not being on a 12th level intellect area, space with Brainiac. But so a lot of emotional beats that were pretty strong. Lots of character moments that were really strong. So besides the conveniences, yeah, it was a 7.5. It was good season finale, and I'm interested in what they want to do next. Obviously, they said Red Sun is influence, but I have a hard time believing that, besides, being an influence and having some kind of, I'm hoping a good Russian superhero. I mean, that's how he was, that's how Superman was in Red Sun. Very good, very good graphic novel, very good Elseworlds tale.
It's odd because he's not bad. He's still Superman, but just slightly different.
Yeah. And this one is and obviously in Red Sun, he doesn't have the don't force your will on people to make the world a better place, that kind of thing, what Superman doesn't do, to rule over Earth and to make Earth a better place. He tries to teach and make the world a better place by saving and by being a better influence, bringing out the good in people. And that's why the story was a little different, because he did end up enforcing his will over the planet to make a more peaceful world. So that could, that could very much be in play. A Supergirl who is interested in peace and things like that, but more likely to force her will upon the world, as opposed to one who
is more passive.
Brings out the good people. Yeah.
Like, basically, they're both good. They're just going about things slightly differently. That would be a much more interesting story for me than if they try to make her, like, just bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be much more compelling. They could probably draw that one out a lot longer than just another bad Kryptonian. Except it's just a split part of Supergirl, but just another bad Kryptonian. I mean, you're gonna have 4 seasons of that in a row.
Yeah, and I don't want the villain this season to be like a bad Kryptonian. Like a Supergirl with a different point of view is one thing, but I don't want like another like Kryptonian / Dax. Like we talked about before. I want the villain to be more of an Earth bait, and it's like, in a sense, the way they were kind of going with Cadmus there for a while, like it was kind of like Earth is rallying to destroy her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's Earth retaliation against the aliens now.
Yeah.
I kind of think it'd be cool to bring Cadmus back a little bit differently. Like, I like almost like the anti-DEA. So, all right. Well, I mean, that wraps up Supergirl season 3. I mean, we're here. Like, wow. Like, season 3. Like, it's just going by quick. It's
happened
crazy.
So fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's
exciting. We've got season 4 coming. Hopefully, I mean, like we discussed when we heard about the possible Manchester Black story. Plus, now maybe we've got a Red Sun inspired Supergirl. A Supergirl with a different point of view. I mean, Supergirl, a Supergirl and a Manchester Black versus a Supergirl. Now that would be pretty intense.
Yeah.
Two incredibly powerful characters, willing to enforce their will and take lives, to serve the greater good. And being an earthbound threat, as opposed to the extraterrestrial threat that every season has been so far.
I'm in.
Yeah. It's exciting, and it'll be nice to start hearing some news in the next couple of months, up until the release of season 4, because we know all the shows start back up in October, and most of the shows have begun production now on their new seasons.
So just remember, Comic-Con is coming.
Yes.
And there's going to be a big
Warner Brothers excited
for TV and for movies. So I'm excited as well.
And Warner Brothers is the big one this year. I mean, without Marvel there, and from what I heard, some other things other companies aren't using Hall H like they have in the past. Like, Warner Brothers is the big one this year. I mean, they have got a lot to throw out this year. I mean, DC Universe, DCCW.
I think it's going to be
maybe info on Krypton season 2, movies, and Aquaman, Shazam.
I'll say, as far
probably
as DC goes,
a tiny bit of Wonder Woman.
Here's what I kind of pick. Here's my quick prediction. We'll see some sort of footage of Shazam. I think that the crowd might get the people there might get a Wonder Woman teaser type thing like they did last year with Aquaman. You know, but we're definitely getting the Aquaman trailer released. So I think it's going to be more powerful in the television. Like if there's a lot of stuff for television.
Well, you come with the, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, with the movies, you know, you come with obviously Aquaman is coming out late this year. You know, we are 5 months away from Aquaman. So it is time for them to drop that trailer and begin the hype train. Shazam is only in April. So that's less than a year away. Considering what they've done for DC movies in the past, I mean, they started releasing things for Batman versus Superman 3 years before it came out.
Yeah, we'll get it.
You know, I mean,
that was
watching.
That's the thing about that movie is it felt like it was the movie that was like coming forever because they started hyping it up the month after Man of Steel. At Comic-Con is when they first said the sequel's going to have Batman. And then in August, we knew it was Ben Affleck. And then it felt like after that, it was like every shred of news, every picture. I mean, I remember being at work and seeing like the first image of Ben Affleck in the Batsuit. And this was before we found out my wife was pregnant with Solomon. And Solomon was a year old by the time the movie came out. You know,
right.
I went through some pretty big life-changing things waiting for this BVS, and I think that's part of what may have hurt it was they just kept building it and hyping it, and it was like there was trailer after trailer. I mean, I remember the 1 year out there.
There was
Luthor picture. I went to the theater to see the teaser trailer. You know, like, and
there was no way the movie was going to live up to the expectations that they built on it for 3 years.
You know, they didn't give it any time to breathe before.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to have the highest expectations of Batman and Superman on screen together for the first time ever. You know? I mean, so just dragging it out the way that they did, but coming back to the present, Shazam is only in April. That's less than a year away. That is very easy to give a nice teaser trailer and show some footage, not a whole lot, and then by the time the Aquaman movie comes out, you're 4 months away from Shazam, and you can drop the full trailer right and have it released with Aquaman at the theater.
That's right.
That's how you advertise. That's how you market your movies. You don't try to build this hype train for 3 years.
I mean, it was just one of those things like, it was like every little detail because everybody was talking about it. I mean, and it just, every time you turn on, there was something else getting added to that film. Like, but we'll save more talk of that when we do our BVS review. So,
and then, like we said, TV. I mean, they've got the DC universe, and
I think
they said
we're going to see a trailer for.
Oh yeah, that's going to be. Yes,
that's going to be because we know that it's coming out in August. So,
and who was it? Which character said it? Maybe it's the actress who plays Donna Troy. Somebody has said that Titans is going to drop with the streaming service.
Yeah, I mean, they
built this streaming service The first things that they announced was Young Justice Season 3 and Titans. If you don't drop DC Universe with Titans and Young Justice Season 3, I mean, you're just shooting yourself in the foot again.
I think Young Justice Season 3 is going to premiere like next year at the very beginning or something. I don't remember, but if they don't, they need to drop it with Titans. They need something new, original, fresh that you can only get from them. to sell the service.
Oh yeah, you can't just drop it with all of the old content. I mean,
the old
people have that on people have that on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah, us major fans
you can't
have been,
expect it.
Yeah, we've been buying that stuff for years. I mean, and have a lot of it. So I mean, yeah, there's some that's gonna be on there that I don't have. Like, I don't have Superboy season 2, 3, and 4 because I want to buy them on DVD and they're really hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a plus and happiness for me, but Titans is the way to go. So we're gonna put a pin in it right here. Comic-Con's coming up. We're gonna have a whole episode talking about Comic-Con and all the DC goodies. And we're gonna.
So that's only what weeks away.
Yeah, it's close. That's what I'm saying. Like it's coming. And we're going to patiently wait.
I love July. Not only is it my birthday, but Comic-Con, we get a whole bunch of movie news.
Did you hear that? It's James's birthday. So send in all your birthday wishes, money to James. So we can buy him some Superman stuff.
Yes, I need more Superman memorabilia.
You do. You can never, have enough. Like, I'm sitting in a room surrounded by it. You would think I'm psychotic. And I'm just like, I can always get more. But I have a wife calling for me. So,
all right.
I need to head out here before I get divorced. All right.
No, that's not what to look forward to.
No. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Krypton Report. You can also email us at kryptonreportpod@gmail.com. If you get a chance to go over to iTunes, please leave us a review to help us get better. If you're an Amazon shopper, just remember you can go to southgatemediagroup.com. There's a portal, log into Amazon, and you'll shop into your account just regular, but it also helps keep all the podcasts on and helps keep Southgate running. Remember, look up in the sky.